Yeah, so Greg, thanks for joining us today. We thought since we've got Comp Laude coming up, this would be a good time. And also, we're currently and actively soliciting for People's Choice submissions. So I don't know about you, but I get a lot of questions about what are you talking about, People's Choice? What does that mean? And what are you doing? So that's where you come in. I thought of, who better to introduce what People's Choice is. You specifically have been behind this for many years now. Is it 4 years, 3 years?
I've hosted it for the last 3 years, and I attended back in 2016. So yeah, and GB's been a proud supporter of it, and we're so pleased to do it again.
Great. So why don't you tell us, just to kick it off, you have some news to announce for our audience that might not know. You're in a new role.
No, I appreciate that. It started June 1, so like a lot of folks that have come on to do new roles during the pandemic, it's been a great experience for me. I've gotten to really get started in a great way. I'm really excited to be our national practice leader in the public sector at Gallagher Bassett. And in that role, I'm combining a lot of the things I've always done, follow and track and be heavily involved in public policy and the issues that affect the industry, but with a particular focus on our public risk managers, our states, cities, counties, school districts, municipalities, and in the higher ed space. It's been a big, foundational strength of GB. I'm really able to kind of fuse a lot of things together for me personally that I really, really enjoy: the law, the claims, our clients in this sector. So I just view it as a great step for me, and I've enjoyed the opportunity to get to know our teams and our the members of our practice that are involved in this area. So thanks for the shout out, Yvonne, and I appreciate everybody in the industry who's jumped on LinkedIn and other places to send me a congratulations. I'm thrilled to take this turn a new page in this story, as it were. So.
Well, congrats! Yeah, congrats on your new role, and again, we appreciate you taking time out to join us today, and we appreciate Gallagher Bassett's support and your support.
Sure.
So that, we're going to go ahead and get started with talking a little bit about the Comp Laude People's Choice and what it's all about. So go ahead, Greg. Why don't you first tell us what is it that Gallagher Bassett finds value in People's Choice? What is it that you see?
Yvonne, I'm gonna flip the script on you, okay?
Oh. Go right. I'm ready. I am ready.
No better way, in my opinion, to start talking about People's Choice without a little bit of a story. Now, I wouldn't ask people to do anything I wouldn't do. So let's go back. It's August 14th, 2016. It was a Sunday. Jimmy Vakal, he's a runner. He's the 7th fastest man in the world, and he pressed his spikes against the blocks in the Olympic Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. It's the games of the Summer Games of 2016. He could feel the adrenaline. Okay, he's done this 10,000 times, but he can feel what's happening. He's pushing his feet against the blocks. The sweat's starting to bead. He can feel the adrenaline. He's attuned to everything now. Okay, there's 60,000 people in the stadium, but all of a sudden he can see his family and his friends. Breathing starts to slow down. The leg muscles start to tense up, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees Usain Bolt, who's standing next to him in lane 6. And all of a sudden, the speakers come to life, and the race official says those famous words in all of racing, and he says, "Runners, to your mark, get set," and that's the point in every race when the tension's just the highest. It's the absolute most tense portion of the race. And it's those kind of same emotions, it's that same awareness that stories begin with. And it's that level of neuroactive transmission that happens when people start to begin a story. We're built to understand stories that way, and they actually have an effect on us. We highlighted just there in that little beginning of that vignette is something called suspense. And as we've talked about at other People's Choice Awards, suspense is the key element of any story. And the reason it works is because when you frame the structure in a certain way, you start to build this chemical in your brain known as dopamine. And dopamine is that thing that gets you to move. It's that thing in a horror movie that makes you feel the tension, and it gets you to move on. And Chase, take us to the next slide. But the thing about stories that's so great is that it's just a powerful cocktail of all these emotions. A shout out to the watermelons and to Eddie. I brought my little picture of my picnic and my watermelon drinks. But that same energy, the attention, the breath, the emotion that goes into the start of a race or the start of a story, that's great for your audience. Really, no better way to begin something than to start it with a story. And so I wanted to start it that way because, Chase, if you take us to the next slide, this is something that we've understood in our industry, that if we want to make a change, people respond to stories. The audience gets emotionally affected by them. If we want to be able to convey a message, no better way than to wrap it into a story. And if we want to change our overall industry, we do it one story at a time. And that's really where the people's choice kicks in. And so, and I'll go back to your question, Yvonne, and before we talk a little bit about some of the past experiences, but from our perspective, mine personally and Gallagher Bassett, I mean, we see, we talk about signature stories all the time. Every one of our claims, every person we meet is a character in a story. They are heroes in these stories. There are people overcoming tumult and difficulty in their lives. They're exhibiting resilience. They're learning every step of the way, and it works equally as well from the professionals that are working in the individual, on the claims themselves. The individuals who are affected by injury, unsuspecting. And all of a sudden, you start to take a look at this collection of stories that represents our industry. And so, as David DiPaolo always, kind of keyed us into this, if we can just make a subtle change, learn one thing at a time, we can improve the industry. So, from GB's perspective, we're very proud to do it, and I'm looking forward to our session coming up in November.